Hey everybody, it's Frank Spear coming to you from the bedroom studios here. I wanted to do another video today. I did a live stream recently. That went very well. Got something like 1,700 views last time I looked. But this time I'm going to make a recording, put it up on YouTube. And this is another soloing video. But I really want to try to simplify everything and break it down to its bare bones essentials here. And we're going to use the major scale and the minor pentatonic scale, the blues scale, if you want to put the flat five in there. You're going to have to know some theory. But what we're going to do basically today is talk about target notes. And I did that a little bit in my last video, but this will be a little bit different, even a little simpler. If we're soloing in the key of A major, it doesn't matter what the chords are in that progression, right? If we get seven notes in the major scale, each one of those notes gets a chord. So out of the major scale, out of those 7 notes, you get 7 chords. Let's take A. Back to A. You get. My bad. So you get each one of these. And that's how you form songs, pop songs generally, right? You don't play them all in a row like that, of course, but you may take the first chord, right? You may take the 5th chord. You may take the 4 chord. You may take the 6 chord and go back to the 1. You could take the 2 chord and start on the 2. Go to 5. Go to 1. You could take the 4 chord and just go 4, 5. I mean, there's no end to the progressions you can make up. Let's take 4, 5, and 6 and play it this way. Home base is still A. You may be playing D major, E major, and F sharp minor, and you may not hit the A chord, but you're still in the key of A. Technically, there's other ways to think about that. But the way I'm thinking about it today is being in a major scale and getting those 7 notes from the major scale, giving them chords, and then making progressions. That's rock music. Now, a lot of times you'll take the 1, the 4, and the 5, and you get thousands upon thousands of rock songs using those in country. So country is almost exclusively the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. They're just mixing them around different ways. Sometimes you just have the 1 and the 5. I mean, it's endless what you can do, right? We haven't even talked about the 3 chord, yeah, or the 7th chord. The 7th is a half diminished chord. If you're going to be technical about it, we could play it as a minor chord if we want to throw it in there. There's all kinds of things you can do to these chords rather than keep them straight up. You can make them dominant 7th chords. You can make them, you can even change some of them, the major chords, into minor chords. There really are no rules. There are rules, but there are no rules. Anyway, what I want to get to today is this, and here's the key. Here's a way that you can solo, especially if you're beginner, intermediate, even advanced players could make this sound amazing. But what you can do is, no matter what the chord progressions are, whatever key you're in, if you're in F and you're playing these chords, right? You're using these chords, no matter how you're using them, and you're soloing over one of them, two of them, three of them, four of them, five of them, doesn't matter. You can play the major scale from the key over the whole thing, right? So if you're in the key of A, whatever chord you're playing, you're still in the key of A, you can play that A major scale for your solo over the whole thing. Okay, if you're creating a vocal melody, you can use the A major scale to create that vocal melody over all the chords, whatever chords are going on if you're a vocalist, or you're a guitar player and it's an instrumental song you're writing and you want to just create a melody over it. Instead of a vocal part, you're playing a guitar melody. You can use that A major scale over all the chords. Now, here's what I suggest. When you switch chords, target the notes that are in that next chord, but stay in the A major scale. You're never going to have to leave that scale. So here's the point. You're not going to have to think, okay, we're playing A, I'll play an A major lick. Uh-oh, they went to E minor, or they went to E7. What do I do now? I got to play an E7 scale. No. You play A major scale, but you start it from E. Target that E. Those notes are all in the A major scale from every chord that you could possibly switch to in that key. Now, if they throw in a wacky chord that's not in the key, just switch to that root and play around on that root in 5 or root in 3rd until you go back to a home chord or a more familiar chord. But we're talking mostly about rock here, right? So for example, and let me just talk about it a few more seconds and then we'll start doing some examples. So if you're playing in the key of A and I'm doing my A lick, I'm going to play around and target, highlight, accentuate that A note. When it goes to D, the 4 chord, I'm going to stay in the A major scale. But I'm going to target that D note because we went to the D chord. When it goes to the E chord, I'm going to stay in the A major scale. I'm not going to change scales ever. But I'm going to highlight that E note when the band goes to E. When they go to F sharp minor, I'm going to play the A major scale. I'm not going to go to F sharp minor. I'm going to play an F sharp minor scale. So I'm never thinking outside A minor in this method. I'm just going to target the F sharp note. You know, if we go to A flat or G sharp minor in the song, even if it were G sharp half diminished, minor 7 flat 5 chord, I would still play the A major scale. Okay, I would just target that A flat note. That's the method. It's simple. I've put a 1-4-5 progression in A. I'm going to switch with the chords, but I'm going to keep playing the A major scale. I'm just going to target the roots of each chord as it passes while I continue to play in the A major scale. At first, I won't be very musical. Then I'll get more musical with it. Let me say one more thing. You can target the roots of each chord as they go by. You can target the 5th of each chord as it goes by. You can target the 3rd of each chord as it goes by. You could target the 7th of each chord as it goes by. All of them will sound great. Okay? So, for example, if I'm playing A, I don't have to start on A and then play a riff. Then it goes to D and I start on D and I play a riff. Then it goes to E, I start on E and I play a riff. That'll sound really familiar to the listener, and it'll really drive home that you're playing the chord changes, and it does sound great. But if you want to get a little bit more colorful with it, when you play the A lick, start on the 3rd. Start on that C sharp and play the A major scale lick. C sharp is in the A major scale, right? It's the 3rd. So start on the 3rd and play a lick. End on the 3rd. Or start on the 3rd and play a lick and end on the 1. Or get the A in there, right? Then when you go to the D chord, start on its 3rd. F sharp, right? Which is in A major. It's the 6th of A major, but it's the third of that D chord. When you go to E, right? Well, the E is minor, so you've got G there, which is the flat 7, but we'll do it this way. If you've got, when you go to E minor, play that third, which is G, which is not in the A major scale. But you have a G sharp in there. So you've got to make, hold on one second. I screwed up there. I knew I did, and I didn't want to start this video over. So forgive me. When you go to the E wouldn't be minor in the key of A, it would still be major. So its third would be, right, G sharp, which is the 7th in the key of A. So my point is, when you're changing chords, you could start on the root of each chord, start your A major lick on the root. You could start it on the 5th. You could start it on the 3rd. You could start it on the 7th. You could start it anywhere, really. But if you want to sound home and rock and roll and not so much jazzy, you could start it on the 2, which would be the 9. You could start it on the 4, right? You could start it on notes that aren't even in the key, but you hop to a note in the key, right? So you use chromatic notes or passing tones that aren't in the key. For example, if I'm starting and I'm going to start on A, in that A chord, I'm going to start on A. I could go to, for example, I could go to G, which is not in the key, and I could start on G and slide right into A, right? I could even do, and it's not in the key, but it would sound good. Let me give you an example. See, that G isn't in the key. If I was playing an A7 chord, it's in the key. I can hop from any note on the fingerboard to that A, and it would sound good. Let's pick a note that's really out of key. All right, we're in the key of A. Here's a note that is not in the A major scale. Okay, there's that B flat. But I'm going to hop from the B flat to the A. That's very bluesy because it's the minor third over a major chord. What if I play, let's take another note that's not in the key. How about a half step up from A, right? Before I played the C sharp, I'm really screwing up today, I'm sorry. That's the minor third. I said B flat, C sharp. It's C. Man, I must have smoked something. I didn't, by the way. I'm just dumb today. So the C is the minor third. Still not in the key of A major. Let's take in the key of A. Let's take the A sharp, right? Or B flat. And play it with that A. I'll play it against the A. It'll sound horrible. But if I use it to jump to the A, it starts to sound pretty cool. Watch. So you don't want to hang on a note that's not in the key, but you can use it to get to notes that are in the key. So I could use that B flat to jump to the A, and I can also jump to, for example, say the E, which is in the key, right? Which is the 5th of A. So I could... That'll sound cool too, watch. To me, that sounds fabulous, fantastic. But it's a note that's not in the key. That's what gives your solos style and flavor and makes them stand out. Listen to like Larry Carlton's solos or anybody else's solos in Steely Dan. Listen to Steely Dan solos. Now, they're playing some weird chords in Steely Dan, but you'll see that it's not just, those standard blues licks, All All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to play an A major progression. 1, 4, 5. So it'll be A, D, E major, right? I may even play seventh chords just to show you that it works even with seventh chords, dominant seventh chords. And then I'm going to just use A major scale, even though that has a natural seventh in it, and I'm going to play seventh chords with a flatted seventh in it. The natural seventh chord sounds great in there. So I get the choice to play the natural 7 or the flatted 7. And they all work. But I'm going to stick to the major scale. And as the chords go by, I'm going to highlight the roots. Okay, here we go. D, E, back home to A. Now I'm just playing major scale. Ready? E, A, D, E, back home to A. Okay, now in between, once I hit the A note on the A chord, I can do whatever I want in that A major scale. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter what I do. There's my lick. So I hit A to let everybody know, hey, I know we're on the A chord. Then I do a little lick. Then I hit the D, let everybody know, hey, I know we're on the D chord. Then I do a little lick in the A major scale. I'm not thinking, uh-oh, I'm in D now. No, I'm over the D chord. What do? I keep playing that A major scale. Then I hit the E. When we go to E, let everybody know I know we're on the E chord. And then I do an A major scale lick. Let's do it again. I'm just playing within this. A 2-octave A major scale. Okay? So I'm playing right in and around there. I'm not changing those notes. Starting on A. D, E, A, E, A, D, E, A, E. That's gold, right? Now I can, like I said earlier, I'll start on the root of each one, then I'll go to the third of each chord. So we're on A. My third is here, C sharp. When we go to D, F sharp, E, which is A flat or G sharp, home to A. All right, so I'm going to get those in. I'm going to play the roots and the thirds. E. That's the octave E. A. So as I'm soloing, once I see where those are on the fingerboard, I say, here's my A, here's its third, here's its lower third. I know those two notes are right there. So as I'm doing an A major lick, I just want to tag those two notes. As I'm doing my D major lick, they're right underneath each other. D, F sharp, D, F sharp, E, then it's just the same thing up, a whole step for E. E, G sharp, E, G sharp. So as I'm doing my A major licks, I'll just tag those as each chord goes by. Ready? D, See, I ended, when it went back to the A chord there, I ended on that third. Do the same with the fifth. So now we're in A. I know my fifth is right here. It's E. So if I know where my A's are, and I know where my E's are, so I got my root, my third, my five. Then we go to D. I got my root, my third, my five. My E, my root, my third, my five. So I'll try to tag each of those as chords are going by, okay? Something came up I never saw before. All right, here we go. E. I'll just play root 3 and 5 of each one. Here we go. Back to the turnaround. Those are the notes you want to highlight, okay? You could play any of the notes in that A major scale. Let me just play randomly. I won't try to target anything, but I'll just fool around with the A major scale over those 3 chords, okay? Hitting whatever notes I happen to hit, and you'll see that they still sound good, but they won't sound as obvious to you maybe that the chords are changing underneath me. I'll start, when I do this, this means I'm going to change to making it more obvious by targeting the roots, okay? Here we go. Just random. Thirds. So I hope you see how that's working out. We're almost at a half hour. I want to take it to playing the minor pentatonic scale, A minor pentatonic over this whole progression. Now we're playing a minor scale over a major chord progression, but that's minor third. That's the only note that really changes. We're only using 5 notes of the major scale here, and then we're taking the third note and we're flatting it. So it's not in the key of A. That's C. But it'll sound, it gives it that blues flavor, right? Here's a good example of the minor third to the root. So the C to the A. To the C to the A. Check it out. That just sounds like rock and roll right there. I can go from the minor third to the third. That is in the key. Right? That's also very common. go. That's where you get this minor third to the root. That's the classic rock lick. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this A minor pentatonic over the whole progression, even though I'm playing A7, D7, E7, back to A. Those are major chords. The seventh, I won't get into that. Okay, watch how this sounds. And again, I'm going to target the roots of each chord change. I don't know why I keep doing that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, A, back to E. E, A. Third of D, E, third, E. Now I'm not going to target anything. Hear how I hit this F, which is not in the key, and went to the fourth, which is not a great sounding note in this. But if I keep doing it, you start to like it, right? Watch this. If I just play those notes separately, watch. That one sounds okay. But when I hit those together, then I'll fall back to the E, which is in the scale, in the key, and it sounds great. So you play around, you got to let your ear tell you what works. But I'm giving you the basics here, and then play with all the other notes around it and let your ear tell you what sounds right. Watch what I'm going to do here. Remember we played the 1, 3, 5 over each one, right? So A. I'm going to start a half step below each of those and run into them. And watch the sound you get. Here we go. That's where you start getting the Scott Henderson, John Scofield type stuff, you know, where you're playing the out notes and making them sound in, right? So if you're just playing the blues scale over that whole thing, start to find some of those notes. Let me do it. I keep doing this every time. I'm sorry, right? you land on the notes of the chord coming, if you experiment like that, and that was sloppy of me, but you get the gist. I'm playing a lot of out notes there. If as the chords are going by, you get on those root notes, or the fifth or the third of that chord, it still sounds like you know what you're doing, and you're following the chord changes. And then in between, do whatever you want. Fit in any notes you want. If you want to sound really classic and pretty and familiar to the listener, then stick with the notes that are in the key. If you want to throw them off a little bit, come out of there a little and make them go, whoa. So let me start out real kind of classic, and then I'll try to get a little hairy, okay? There it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that today. I stuck right around the same area in the fingerboard. Once you know your notes, you can just, get that going all over the place, right? Switch between A minor and A major as we did there, right? Let me just go over that a second. If you know your theory a little bit, you'll know that instead of playing the A major scale, which you can do and it's fine and it's great, you can also play F sharp minor pentatonic, which has the notes of the A major scale. So it's the sixth note up from any key. A, B, C, D, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. From that F sharp, from the sixth note of any major scale, you can play what they call the relative minor. And you play the pentatonic scale from there. Minor pentatonic. So now you've got the A major pentatonic, the A minor pentatonic, the A major scale, over this progression. A major is going to work over every chord. You can play the A minor pentatonic scale, works over every chord. And then you can play the A major scale, but from the F sharp minor pentatonic position, highlighting the A, of course. And so now you've got three choices. Really, when you go to the D chord, you could play D minor pentatonic. When you go to the E, you could play E minor pentatonic. When you go to the D, you can play B minor pentatonic, which is its relative major. So those are the notes of the D major scale. So really, you could play A major over A. When it goes to the D, you could play D major over D. You're going to get some funky notes in there, so be careful and learn how to use them. I'm throwing this in for those of you who understand a little more theory at this point. If you don't, stick with the A major scale over the whole thing and the A minor pentatonic over the whole thing. Highlight the roots, highlight the third, highlight the fifth, and then play outside the chord tones for some jazzy flavor. Comment below and let me know if this helped you. I know I'm speaking fast. We've been quarantined up here and I haven't been talking much, so I'm blah, 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 blah. Let me know if this helped, and I'll do more videos in the future. Thank you, guys.